Tonight on CTV, protest against the consolidation of Pooter's school district. What do the students think? We have the latest.
CSU's celebration for National Coming Out Day.
And a ghost tour to kick off the Halloween festivities.
All this and more, starting now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm JJ Mckinney.
And I'm Karma Robbins.
Tonight we have some breaking news. Earlier this evening, members of the Shabbat at Colorado State University, as well as 6 other Jewish-based organizations at CSU, held a vigil for the Jewish communities in Israel. On the Shabbat Instagram, they made a post saying, in response to the yet ongoing tragedy in Israel to our Jewish community, the CSU Jewish community is coming together for a peaceful vigil with prayer, reflection, support, and unity. Members of Shabbat, ASCSU President Nick DeSalvo, and professors gave speeches in support of the Jewish communities that will be affected by the conflict in Israel and Palestine. This conflict affects both CSU students here on campus and abroad, and we will work to keep you updated as these events develop. Tomorrow, on Friday, October 13th, a Freedom for Palestine protest will be held at the intersection of Mulberry and College at 4 in the afternoon.
Fort Collins has seen a rise of crashes on the road, and this latest crash has claimed the 5th motorcyclist this year. A motorcyclist was killed in a crash this Tuesday, the 11th motorcycle crash in Larimer County this year. According to Fort Collins Police Services, the crash happened at the intersection of Windmill and West Horsetooth Road. A Jeep Cherokee heading southbound braked for a stop sign as the Jeep began to make a left-hand turn to go eastbound. It collided with a Honda motorcycle traveling west. Officers arrived on scene, where they found a singular rider with life-threatening injuries. Despite efforts to save him, he was pronounced dead at the scene. The motorcyclist has not been named. Anyone with more information about the crash is encouraged to call the authorities at 970-221-6842.
Students at a local Fort Collins school stepped out of their classrooms and into the streets to protest for their school's independence. Half of Polaris Expeditionary Learning School students walked out and marched to Pooter School District administrative offices to protest a consolidation plan. The plan in question saw the closing of schools across the district, with Polaris Expeditionary Learning School's programming set to move into Orlando Elementary and Blevins Middle School. The plan also calls for a combination of Centennial High School and Pooter Community Academy, as well as integrated services for students 18 to 21 under one roof. The students and staff impacted by this plan took matters into their own hands, with walkouts speaking against the decision. The protest seems to have convinced PSD to hold off on the consolidation plan for now, as they reevaluate what needs to be done for the community before they take a vote. Now, students felt a little bit chilly on campus. We have Adam Carlson here to tell us more about the weather for the week. Adam?
Thanks, JJ. Good evening, Rams. My name is Adam Carlson, and I'm here to give you your weather rundown for the night. Windy weather and chilly rain are taking Fort Collins by storm, but stay tuned for news on this weekend's annular eclipse. Right now, it's pretty windy and cloudy out, 47 degrees and 20-mile-per-hour winds. But heading into tonight's lows, we can see that reflected all over the state. In the eastern plains, everything's around those 30s, Fort Collins hitting the 40 and Lamar. Colorado Springs has a wind warning, and Pueblo with that red flag warning, just being more ideal conditions for fire. But when we look at the western slopes, everything's in the 20s except Grand Junction hitting 39, and Vail has a winter weather advisory. But heading into tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be pretty sunny out, with 56 as our high nonetheless. And again, those winter windstorms are hitting us fast, 16-mile-per-hour winds. But as we head into our weekend, we can see that it's pretty sunny. Saturday, 60, a nice 69 degrees on Sunday. And then Monday and Tuesday, we're back in the 70s, but it will probably shift back to 60s for the rest of the week. The annular solar eclipse will be visible in Fort Collins Saturday morning. This eclipse means the moon will pass in front of the sun, but will leave a ring of sun visible still. The ring is best visible in the Four Corners region. However, it may be best not to look directly into the sun without protection. And be wary of cloud cover, which may lead to this eclipse being harder to see. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think solar eclipses go kind of crazy. I saw a total eclipse a few years back, but annular is still pretty cool. Cool little ring.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check it out. Probably even stare at it.
Don't, JJ.
I think, Carmen, we may have to stare at it.
I'm not staring into the sun, and I don't think I've ever seen a solar eclipse. So
This is a perfect opportunity to stare at it then.
You could stare at the sun. I mean, I
I'm
can't
good.
stop you.
I think you should stare at the sun. I'm going to be staring at the sun. But now it's time for a short break.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up one finger if you're a man, women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
Welcome back, Rams. If you're a student who needs accommodations for school, then you've probably heard about the Student Disability Center. I went to the center to find out about the services they offer. The center has been around for about 50 years as part of CSU's Office of Inclusive Excellence. This year, CSU welcomed one of its largest and most diverse classes in this year. CSU and CSU Pueblo have seen an increase in diversity and first-generation students throughout the fall, which reflects CSU's long-standing commitment to making education affordable and accessible for everyone this year. CSU welcomed over 5,200 students, the third largest incoming class in university history, around 260 students shy of last year's record. Setting enrollment, some highlights of this year's fall class are that they are 30% racially and ethnically diverse, 25% are first generation, and 9% of the Colorado residents hail from a rural community. CSU's total head count for this year rises above 33,600 students, almost 200 more than last year. Since CSU has surpassed their own record 2 years in a row, can they break it again next year? Only time will tell.
National Coming Out Day has members of the LGBT community from all over the world celebrating the freedom that comes with living your life, free to love whoever you want. CSU's Pride Resource Center wants to make sure this day would be a time of happiness for the LGBTQ+ community by taking the festivities to the plaza. The LSC Plaza was filled with colorful banners, flags, and booths, with students drawing rainbow flags embracing the LGBTQ+ community. The annual National Coming Out Day, also known as Coming Into Queerness Day, served as a way for students to connect with one another and celebrate their identity, but also acted as a resource for LGBT students to know what resources were available to them on campus, from the Pride Resources Center's Safe Space office to the Lavender Cabinet, a place that provides students with gender-affirming clothes. The event welcomed all students, whether they were out or not. With an event as important as Coming Into Queerness, there was much more that the LGBT members of the community needed to say.
I like to celebrate queer joy, no matter if people are out of the closet or not. So we really place the focus on the individual and just like self-love, self-acceptance. Authenticity is really what we're trying to celebrate out here today. And we want to do that whether people are in the closet, out of the closet.
I think more than 5 or 6 years ago now, it's kind of a tradition that students look forward to see the closet out on the plaza, and it's their opportunity to feel like it's their home on the plaza. I know other things happen on the plaza that make people feel like they're not welcome here, so we want to make sure we're taking up space and celebrating our students today.
Overall, the Pride Resource Center hopes events like National Coming Out Day unites the LGBTQ+ community and gives support for the many different ways a person can come into their own identity.
Another college year means the annual Homecoming Week, which carries American tradition across the country. This year's CSU annual events include a festival, a 5K race, fireworks, and of course, football. Are you guys going to an event?
Maybe. I think we're going to go to the tailgate. Definitely the football game. You know, I love seeing us play, especially at CSU. What about you?
I'm excited. I'll be cheering the game.
Ooh.
And it's a TV game as well.
Nice. So that's like, I'm not sure if that's national television. That's Mountain West television for sure.
I think it might be. I'm not completely sure.
Well, just remember when you're famous, okay?
Of course.
All right.
You too.
After the break, Madeline Davis will be filling in for Zoe Weir to give us the sports rundown.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
What's up, Fort Collins? I'm Madeline Davis, and welcome back to another week of CTV Sports. It is one of the most exciting weekends here on campus. It's homecoming, and the Rams are welcoming parents and families to cheer on the football team this Saturday as they take on the Boise State Broncos. But before we dive into that game over at Canvas, we can't forget who else is playing on Saturday, as the men's basketball team starts the season off with an inter-team scrimmage at 3:30. But that isn't all the news we have from our basketball programs, as the Rams were awarded the two biggest preseason awards in the Mountain West, in both men's and women's. With McKenna Hofschild, last year's in-conference player of the year, being named as Mountain West preseason player of the year this year, and deservingly so after a season in which she averaged a crazy 20 points and a little more than 7 assists per game. But she wasn't alone atop the conference, as men's point guard Isaiah Stevens also claimed that exact same honor, but for the men, serving as one of the best point guards in the country last year. Stevens hopes to use this newly assembled roster and make some big noise in the Mountain West. This is the first time in school history that both the men's and the women's team have had both preseason players of the year. But now let's get to the actual game of the weekend. The Rams took a tough, unexpected loss this past weekend down in Utah. The offense was honestly just not moving. QB Fowler Nicolosi had 3 interceptions and was only able to complete 26 of 57 passes, making it almost impossible for the team to make it to the end zone. Hopefully the Rams can leave that in the past as we look ahead to take on the Broncos. Boise is currently 3-3, losing to Washington, Central Florida, and Memphis. They have taken down 2 teams in the Mountain West, including San Diego State and San Jose State. The Broncos quarterback is Taylon Green. Green is standing at 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. Green has only turned the ball over 4 times, which is what CSU is struggling with. Green is handing the ball to Ashton Jeanty. This running back has 120 carries for 656 yards, making it to the end zone an impressive 8 times. The main target for the Broncos is Eric McAllister. He sits at 30 receptions and 596 yards for 4 touchdowns. Coach Norvell dives into the game in his Monday night press conference as he talks about Boise as a team. Coach talks about the program not having as much edge and creativity as they used to.
Their personality as a team the last couple of years has been that they want to be balanced. They want to run the football. They don't take as many chances as the old Boise teams used to take, and they're not as creative as the old Boise teams were. But they play good, solid defense, and they try not to make mistakes.
The Rams shouldn't be too worried to take on the Broncos besides this past game. They look pretty solid. Plus, the spirit of homecoming and all the extra fans should give the team a big boost. Colorado State's defense has been pretty strong all season, with Jack Howell, Henry Blackburn, and Mo Kamara. These defensive players should do a pretty good job stopping McAllister and Jeanty. Howell and Blackburn are 2 very similar players and captains of the team, both that sit at 17 solo tackles and each have 1 interception so far this season. I think both of these players would have more tackles if it weren't for Mo Kamara sacking the opposing QB so often. Kamara stands at 9.5 sacks and 13 solo tackles. He currently has the most sacks per game in the nation. Pretty impressive if you ask me. Hopefully the defense stays strong this weekend and the offense can pick it back up for the huge crowd in such a big game. With that though, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in, and go Rams.
And road rage shootings, drugs, and weapons are rising in Loveland, Colorado. One incident involved a 52-year-old man who fell victim to road rage when he was fired upon. Another event involved a 56-year-old man who was found passed out in a suspicious vehicle during the investigation. The police ended up finding a significant amount of illicit drugs, weapons, ammunition, and tactical gear in the vehicle. Both incidents happened last week, and no injuries have been reported.
That's all the news we have for you today.
We'll send you off to our feature reporters, Dakota, Kendall, and Tate Paisley, as they take us through a new ghost tour.
Stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
It's Halloween season, Rams, and Ghost Tour manager Lori Juzak is ready to introduce you to her haunted tour.
And we had the opportunity to go on a preview tour underground and experience the paranormal, and it was spine-tingling.
Fort Collins Ghost Tours takes you through Old Town's spookiest locations, all while your tour guides, dressed in historical costumes, tell the creepy history of your favorite local businesses.
Being Fort Collins' resident ghost tour makes this the go-to Halloween activity that showcases Old Town's history and distinct atmosphere.
Going on 13 years, they continue to thrive and disprove many skeptics' theories against Old Town's mysterious past and eerie present. If you're interested in experiencing the spooky vibes this season, during October, tours run every half hour, Wednesday through Sunday. Tickets are $25 and private tours this October run $300 minimum for up to 12 guests. There's truly a tour for everyone that showcases unique activities appealing to families and young children, such as the Ghosts and Goodies tour. And for over 21 guests, you can enjoy the Haunted Pub tour.
I want you to know this is a safe space. You can admit you're scared.
Yeah, no, it was terrifying being in those basements. Thank God I wore the yellow pants to the shoot. But I must say, it was quite the experience.
Oh, yeah.
And on that note, if you don't have any plans this season, this ghost tour is a super fun experience that may be just what you need to get into the holiday spirit.
We hope you enjoyed coming along with us on this spooky adventure. Remember to stay safe this holiday season and tune in next week. Thank you and good night, Rams.